Wonderful. Okay. Well, folks, this evening, what we're going to be doing is we'll be introducing our CEO just in a minute here. But just want to give you a bit of a layout of the call that we're going to be hosting this evening. As many of you have been hearing the rumor, Mexico was one of the market that Max is expanding into. And as a matter of fact, this evening, we were very, very fortunate to have our CEO who's going to be sharing some insights on the actual market and the potential that it has. And after Joe had a chance to share, I'm going to share with you where everything is located. So you can actually find every bit of the documents that you need to be able to run your business. The PowerPoint presentation in English, in Spanish, within the North American market. As you know, there's also Spanish-speaking folks in Canada, United States, but also we have the Spanish Mexican version. As you know, I have a different selection of products, and I'm going to share with you where everything is, the prices and everything. It's just moving your thumb around on your app, and then from there, you have everything set up, ready to go. So it's all there, ready for you to use, and I'll be walking you through this at the end. So Tammy, before we introduce Joe, did you want to share a few words?
Yeah, I just like to introduce Joe, if that's okay, and get this ball rolling. I know that Joe, I just want to say thank you very much for participating tonight. We're really excited to have Mexico open. It's a market that we've wanted to see open for a long time, and obviously the last few years has been a little bit of a roadblock, but all good. We're excited now, and everything is moving forward. And anybody who doesn't know Joe Wojtycki, because Joe, some people on the call this evening, Joe, they don't know who you are. Joe Wojtycki is the CEO of Max International. He's been with Max since 2009. He's got a very unique story coming from Wall Street. He was a lawyer, and he was hired by Max International to have a look at this technology that we're going to be taking into Mexico, which is really exciting. And he was so impressed with the technology that he decided to be partners with Max International. So Chris and I have had the honor for many years working with Joe Wojtycki in the field, on buses, going into international markets that were literally ground floor that we expanded into huge organizations. So it's always fun to have him on one of our sessions this evening. So please help us welcome Mr. Joe Wojtycki.
So Joe, you should be able to unmute yourself.
I can, and there I am, unmuted. Perfect. Unbridled, unbowed.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining in. I knew that was a short notice invitation that was on last Friday, and really appreciate you making yourself available always to share with us. And I'm going to keep the door, the floor open for you to share what you feel is important to share to the audience. The call is recorded. We're also on Facebook Live, by the way. Hey guys, on Facebook Live, thank you for joining us. We love thumbs up. We love hearts. We have comments. And so I will turn the call over to you, Joe, if you want to go ahead and share with the audience what's going on.
Well, we are officially open as of today in Mexico. People should be able to order product now, enroll associates. So everything should be functioning just perfectly well. We're able to pay commissions. The products that are in fact registered are now in the country. So they are prepared to be shipped. They've been in the country now for a couple of days, but so there's no problem with product delivery. The products that are available without limitation of supply, which is the NFR circumstance that we deal with Canada, as you guys are probably ultimately familiar with, is we have Max 1, we have Max GXL, and we have 357 that are fully registered. The other products have to be ordered on an NFR basis until we complete the registration. So we anticipate that Celgevity will follow soon, but there's been one issue that we've been working with the government on there. But all products can be ordered, all products can be shipped. and business is ready to roll in Mexico. The Mexican market is, by the books, by the demographics, should be the biggest market for Max in the world, based upon the key performance indicators that we look at. It should. So this is a very, very big opportunity. And there are a number of reasons why that this is going to be such a big success and such a big opportunity. The first is that they are very, very familiar with glutathione in the market. There have been other companies that have been selling glutathione products. Fortunately for us, they're not effective products. Their science is somewhat nowhere near our science, and so we have an advantage in that our products actually do what they say they're going to do with respect to raising glutathione levels. So I'm expecting that we're going to have a pretty warm reception once people start taking the products, and so that's a super positive. The second thing is the income levels in Mexico have remained at a very decent level as compared to a lot of the countries that we have gone into. So people there are a huge number of people that absolutely can afford the products. With respect to the currency, we've had issues globally with the US currency getting so much stronger than currencies around the world. That is not the case in Mexico. Mexico, the peso there has performed fairly decently against the US dollar, so not a ton of deflation in that regard. So the infrastructure in Mexico is quite good, so delivery of products will be fine and shouldn't be a problem. We've partnered with a very big distributor there, so shipments shouldn't be a big issue as it can be in other places. So those are some really key points right there. Medical professionals are also very familiar with glutathione and comfortable with the products. So I think you'll find a warm reception amongst that group of people. So generally speaking, Mexico should be twice as big a market for us as Nigeria was, based upon all of the things that we were looking at. And we all know how big Nigeria had gotten up to. And we expect that Mexico will be twice that. So we've been working with our leaders and putting together our program for how we're going to go about approaching the market in a very coordinated fashion, which is really exciting because there's so much opportunity that if we execute in a coordinated fashion, in the manner in which people who have been working together for 10, 12 years are able to do, we're confident that this market will be incredibly successful. And so, it's big thanks to Chris and Tammy, of course, because if two people ever are big on communication and relationship building, it's these two. And the other leaders are certainly following their lead and working in concert. And so it's going to be, I think, a very, very big success. And I'm really excited. It took us a while, had a lot of delays, but what I can tell you about doing things in Mexico, and that we were very much warned about from other companies, is that if you don't do it legally above board, the Mexican government can be draconian in their punishment. And they have, in fact, kicked companies out who have tried to shortcut the situation. But we followed all the rules, all the regulations, and we went through the front door. And so it's finally here, and we're really excited about what's coming and ready to roll. So I hope you guys participate in it actively. I think it will be a very huge opportunity, and certainly one that I don't think you'll want to miss, because you guys know our products so well. And having the opportunity to compare our products to other products that are on the market there, I think you'll find a lot of success if you put the effort in. And so I'm looking forward to this market, and I'm looking forward to seeing some really explosive growth.
I really appreciate that, Joe. And as a matter of fact, now we have a few questions, and some of them I know Maripol you answer, but I will still ask the question because there is some folks on Facebook Live, and some may actually see the recording tomorrow. So I'll approach. But just before we go there, my experience, Joe, working in the Mexican market is they are very, very health conscious. And also there is a group of people that deal with cash, and there is others that are also dealing with credits. And obviously you understand the process there, and that's exciting that Max is really prepared for all of that. And in fact, Tammy and I were working in a Mexican market when they have a whey powder, and it was a glutathione based on milk thistle. And it was quite expensive compared to what we have, as a matter of fact.
And it still is.
Yeah. And people were getting gas and everything else. And what we have is so much superior, and it exploded. Joe, I'll never forget. This is when I saw what network marketing can do for a human being when you get into momentum. I've never seen that in my life, where, it went from 0 to 100,000 CV a week just with one team, which happened to grow Max. It just went ballistic. But of course, at the beginning, we just have to lay the foundation, educate folks, let people know. But I'm telling you, do not underestimate the Mexican market. They will absolutely explode this thing.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that we're really excited about, right? Is that a company with an inferior product that doesn't have any proof that it raises glutathione levels, that is more expensive than ours, that tastes terrible. They got up to $125 million in Mexico alone. That tells you something.
Totally agree with you. And let me just address some of the questions over here, Joe. Let's see here. Let me just go back a little bit. Okay, let's see. Okay. Paul Gruber was asking, where is the office in Mexico?
Well, we haven't put an office yet in Mexico. So the plan is that over the first 3 months, we're going through a pre-launch type phase, and we're going to operate in the country while doing events that are being coordinated with the leaders, and see where the momentum is garnered and where the demand is for that office. The places that we are anticipating we'll see great demand are places like Mexico City or Guadalajara. And we would then, at that point in time, put the office in a place where it would be best for the people who are really working and pushing, as opposed to taking a guess, hoping that we're right, and then maybe having to adjust course. We're going to do it in this case. We're going to, because it's such a big country, we're going to do it piece by piece in concert with where the leadership is going to want the office.
Absolutely, Joe. As a matter of fact, let's keep in mind, folks, that since the pandemic days, people have evolved quite a bit. And, there is people in every corner of the street that can actually make deposits and, to be able to pay for their products. Everything can be done online through your cell phone, through computers and everything else. So it's not like before. Now, the office will be there because it is certainly something that elevates the credibility in a country, but we can certainly operate. And this is very smart. It's kind of like in Canada. We've never had an office for like 16 years, and we've been operating for 16 years. Everything is virtual. So just keep that in mind. But not to say that it won't be an office. It's just we're starting in a way that is very financially wise, and it's a very good approach. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Joe, for answering that.
Yeah, and as I talk to our friends, just quickly, as I talk to our friends from Mexico, living here locally or living in Mexico, a lot of them are saying that the most growth will come from Mexico City, Guadalajara, and even they're talking about Monterrey. So kind of keep that on your radar when you're looking at building in the marketplace.
Yeah, there's Monterrey, there's Leon, there is Querétaro. I mean, there's a lot of really powerful cities that are going to explode, and I'm sure it's just going to expand from there. So another question that we have is, you were mentioning NFR. Can you explain what NFR is, Joe?
So when a product is not officially registered for sale in a countries often will allow for a product to come on a not what's known as a not for resale basis, meaning that you can purchase it for personal consumption and they'll have limits on how much you can buy. So in Canada, you can buy up to 3 months of a product for your personal use. And that's how we tend to ship it up there. It'll be the same for Mexico with respect to the products that aren't registered yet. But that doesn't mean that you can't sell them and ship them. So that's what NFR is.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Another question, Kelly, that's probably for me. Where is the information displayed on where we do business in Mexico? Well, obviously on the Max website, you can see the flag is there. Everything is there. But when it comes to how to build a business and all the details, which is really the role of an associate, I will walk you guys through this. It's very simple. For those of you that are familiar with the board, it's just there. You just need to select a Mexican flag, and I'll walk you through where everything is. Just today, I've added a few things, thanking Erica and Mary Paul, who has been actually kind enough to work on some of the massaging of the PowerPoint to make sure that we have the North American Spanish version and a Mexican Spanish version, because obviously we have different product approval when you deal with North America and when we deal with Mexico. And so I'll walk you through all of that in a minute. Another question we have here, Joe, is some people are ready to register in other countries. How can we position them into Mexico now? If you want to go ahead and answer that.
You mean they've registered already in a different country and they want to change their registration?
Lucy, can you clarify?
Correct.
I believe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's her question.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can have them call into customer care and we can move their registration to the country in which they are living for sure. That shouldn't be an issue if they've registered in another country. So customer care reps are standing by. We've got them operating out of El Salvador, out of Ecuador, and out of the US for right now. So everybody, obviously native Spanish speakers or fluent in Spanish. And so that's all set up. So if a person wants to call in and change their country of registration, just have them do that.
Okay, perfect. So is there any other questions for Joe before I let him go and I walk you guys through where you can access all the data to be able to build your business in Mexico?
Go ahead, Lucy, if you have a question. I think I see your hand up.
Yeah.
Literally.
Okay, Lucy, I will.
He's on mute.
Yeah, it's just a sec. I will just give you the opportunity to unmute yourself. Lucy, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. It is that I have people that I have registered them in another country and a Max country, but they are from Mexico. So they wanted to get registered because they got some product for United States and got some product. So how will they get into Mexico? Will it be done by the Max or?
No, just talk to a customer care rep. You talk to Erica Valdez about it, and she'll accommodate you, or Paula, and they'll make sure.
So I would ask Erica from Max Erica. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll make sure that you get the connection, Lucy, so you have the data.
Yeah, I have a contact.
Okay, perfect. That's all you need to do.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, anybody else? The calls, I've opened the calls. If you want to unmute yourself, if you have a question, please feel free to either raise your hand or ask the question. Stéphane, bonjour. Josette, hey, go ahead. Sorry, actually, Janet, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Are we going to have a convention in Salt Lake City soon?
Not likely. Not soon.
Okay.
That
I really
isn't
like
on
Salt
the-
Lake City. I love those conventions.
They are good. They are lots of fun, no doubt.
We'll have
And I
to
would
do
love
it in
to.
Mexico.
Well, we will. As we build up, we're going to have to build up some momentum and then decide where we would have, the launch event itself. So all of these things are in the planning stages, and we're going to be doing it on an iterative basis as we gather momentum, as we start to have more and more events. I know a number of leaders are down in Mexico already and starting to do the work that's necessary. We want to back them up by doing weekly calls with corporate to do presentations where people can be invited to. I know that the leaders have calls also going on a weekly basis, and we're all trying to work in concert to build the momentum. We'll be having medical calls that are strictly for medical professionals. So there's a variety of different events that are going to be going on throughout the month of March and April. And then we will make the decision about, as we see where we're gaining momentum and we're getting traction, where we're going to have the events and what type of event it will be. And so all of those things, we have meetings every week so that we are all staying as much as possible on the same page. And one thing that is really great about this is we're working with leaders that we've worked with for the last 12 years. And so it'll be very well organized, very well coordinated. They've even put together a presentation that they're all working with. So it's a real team effort, and it's going to be I think a really big success.
Beautiful. Thank you, Joe. When it comes to commission, Mayor Paula asked if it's going to be paid through the same way through MaxPay in Mexico.
It'll be either that or direct.
Okay, Joe, we lost you. Just bear with me here, folks. Just make sure you can reconnect or come back. It's probably a bit of a dead spot. Joe, we missed the answer. You got cut off just when you were answering.
Oh, it'll either be a direct deposit as commissions have been paid, or it can go through a bank card. It's a different system in Mexico for paying commissions slightly, in that we have to get an invoice similar to Costa Rica. And so, but all of that is laid out in the document, the process that people have to go through to get commissions.
Okay, thank you. Now, Luz, your question is where Guadalajara or Mexico City, the office, Joe was mentioning earlier that right now it's virtual, and the office will be open based on where the momentum will take place, where the most activity will be taking place, where the associates are going to be mainly building, which I think is very wise. Okay.
And just so you guys know, Paula will be the GM in Mexico. Paula, who is our current GM in Ecuador and has done an absolutely fabulous job there, will be the head of the market for Mexico.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, Jasmine, you have your hand up. Please go ahead and ask the question.
She has to unmute.
You're on mute, Jasmine. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Thanks. So I'm clear on what we do with current associates to switch them over to Mexico, but I have some customers that live in the States and in Mexico both. With a customer that's currently on Celgevity, will they be able to have their shipment sent to Mexico under that personal use only?
NFL.
Or
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
as long as they're not ordering more than the legal quantity.
Okay. Okay, so it's not just for associates, for customers as well. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
And-
Thanks. I
and-
appreciate it.
Thank you, Jas. And just to clarify, I know in North America, or specifically in Canada, it's 3 months that a customer can order at one time. Is that the same thing in Mexico?
I think it's 3 months,
Okay.
but we will have that on the site, to be clear.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yes, that's correct, Luz. It would be Paula Hernandez, manager. She's the manager there. Okay, is there any other questions? If not, I will let our CEO, given the option to leave if he needs to go. Just want to make sure that we addressed all questions if there are any.
Yeah, Chris and Steve, I got a question. Sorry I joined late. I had trouble with connecting with Zoom.
No
Where's-
worries, Steve.
This question might have been asked already. Where's the distribution networks initiated from in Mexico?
There are a number of warehouses that our shipping company has. So the products are in country, in fact. So they have a number of different locations to distribute from. The NFR products will be distributed from the warehouse in Laredo, Texas.
Okay. All right. So there's inventory in these locations now, is there?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Very good.
Okay. Thank you for joining in, Steve. Any other questions? We're good? Okay.
No.
Okay, Joe, is there any last word that you want to mention before I shift over to the associate side of things? Oh, I'm not sure if we lost you, Joe.
No, just very excited about the opportunity. I think that this is going to be a really great business in Mexico. I hope you guys participate in it fully. It's one of those things where all the numbers are there. It's just it's a really, really terrific market for our products, and we're not having to train people right from the ground up. There's going to be a number of people there that already understand the importance of glutathione.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it's the weather conditions.
Pete, sorry, am I cutting out again?
Yeah, yes, you are. But go ahead.
Okay.
We lost
So,
maybe the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, so just saying that it is a. I think we will receive a very warm welcome down there for this product in this market and with the distribution network that that we have. So I think it's going to be well worth the time to be active and participate because Mexico, as Chris has said, can be very, very explosive. And with our product, essentially, we will be replacing an ineffective product that doesn't deliver the value for money, and we're not priced as high as they are. I think that this is going to be very good.
Beautiful. Well, Joe, I want to thank you for everything you do for us and just always being the rock of this company to make sure that we can go through all of the adversity when it comes to this economy, this challenging economy times. And thank you for being who you are. Really appreciate you.
It's always great working with all you guys. Looking forward to continuing that.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate
Absolutely.
See you guys.
that. Take
Thanks,
care.
Joe.
Bye-bye. Bye. Okay, folks, I'm going to shift my screen right now to show you where you can access the data because we have everything available for you to be able to build your business. So don't leave. This is very important. If you want to make some money, you need the tools. So just bear with me here. I'm going to just share screen number 3. And okay, can you guys confirm that you're seeing that? Just give me the thumbs up that you can see my screen. Okay, perfect. Excellent. I always like to confirm. Okay, let me just so I can see all your beautiful faces. I'm doing this. Okay, so obviously this is the team website, which is Active Team Group, where everybody is familiar with this site. Now, when you go through the site, again, it's not that far, really, just close to the middle of the page or so. This here is what you want to click on. Now, I'm not going to go through this right now, okay, because there's many trainings. As a matter of fact, if you go to the bottom of the page, we have a lot of tools to help you navigate. And by the way, if you have a Spanish-speaking person that'd like to listen to something that we've done in English that has not been translated in Spanish yet, I will show you, we show you here how you can actually change the language just by following, I believe this one here, sharing your Zoom. Okay, here we go. This here, right here, right? How to set your YouTube subtitles. It's default. There's like every language in the world exists. And it's automatic. It's just like Zoom. It hear your voice, and from there it will transcribe what you're saying, and it's going to transcribe it in a language. Keep in mind, it's like a Google Translate, but I would say it's 80% understandable, right? So sometimes the context may be a little bit off, but it's enough for people to really understand the context of the information that is shared. So keep in mind that we're not in 1990 here, right? This is 2023. So there's a lot of technology that we can utilize to deal with the international market. So don't be handicapped by something that it's not in the language of preference, because you can use the subtitles and it's right over here. It's about 1 minute, 13 seconds. It is not a lot of time. And then you can learn how to activate subtitles. So you can actually utilize that for whatever market or person you'd like to share information and be done. You may have in English and it's not translated yet. Now, because we're working on that diligently, as a matter of fact. Now, by the way, we have the rank advancements every single month. We announce what's going on. This is basically back in January. Soon we're going to be announced February. I think we have about 915 people that signed up in February. February was a bit of a tough month because there's been a price increase and everything else, but it's all there. We promote it. You click this, and then you will actually go through the process of installing your board. By the way, we also are, Tammy and I, and Turnbull, Wattmaster, which is William, and also Dr. James, who's a Crown Diamond in Nigeria. We are spending an enormous amount of time transcribing the actual training that we are doing, which is a 90-day run. And when you click on that, it will take you to the actual channel where you can see all of the trainings that's been going on from day one. And they're all here. Okay, every single trainings that we've done. So I do recommend you take advantage of that because it will help you add to your knowledge to, you know, to utilize Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all the bells and whistles that honestly most people would never know. Also, Tammy and I, every Sunday night, we actually do a Q&A. We call it Q&A with Chris and Tammy. And Sunday afternoon at around between 11 to 1 o'clock or so, and we just answer questions live. So if you have a question, you simply go here and you simply post a question on the chart. You put your name and you just put, you don't even have to real name. It doesn't really matter. What's important is we have your questions, you submit it, and at the end of the week, we get the questions and then we share them on Sunday. Again, just food for thought. Wanted to share that with you. So back to the board. Okay, so once you've installed the board, now you're seeing it on my computer. These are all the different boards from our different leadership. But what happens here is that you will see this one. Okay, now you'll have these kind of buttons. Okay, so I'm not going to click on those, but for the sake of discussion here, if you click on the Spanish button, then you'll notice down here we have different countries here, not because they speak Spanish. It's for Spanish people that may want to do business in some of these countries, and that's why it's there out of respect. But what's interesting here is for you here is this question. For example, Kelly, I think it was Kelly Ronson, was asking where can I get the information in reference to prices and so forth and all the details. It's all here. So I suggest that you just venture in here. Now, keep in mind, this is in Spanish, but I want to point out to the important information right now. So I went to the presentation segment, okay? And then from there, I want to go here right away. This is a PDF that were provided by the corporate team, okay? And remember that you can share these documents, okay? So if it's on your cell phone or whatever, you can share it over here and whatever icon that shows on whatever device you have. I'm sure you know this because it's pretty standard, and you can share that with anybody. And what's important here is it will give you the details. Again, this is in Espanol, okay? And just want to kind of walk you through, give you some details. This is not designed for a presentation. It is heavy, it is wordy, but it is good for someone that wants to get a feel for the credibility, the certification, the products that are available in the country. It's all here. And we have the details and prices over here on each of the products. And if you want to know what that is in US dollars, there's an app that you can, currency app, you can go just to Google and just kind of ask for what the conversion rates, and then you'll have a general idea, okay, of what's going on here as far as pricing. And it's quite competitive, as a matter of fact. And from there, you can see here that we have the Max 1, we have the 357, and we have the Max GXL, okay? And then from there, we also have some packages that are available here, okay? So from there, you know, the cost to get started. And then from there, these are the different packages that that are available in Mexico right now. And I suggest you familiarize yourself with this. You don't want to start looking at this for the very first time. Now, I've asked the company if they can give us the English version so we can share that with our English folks so we can get an understanding, but obviously it's quite understandable based on what's going on here. It's just common sense at this point. But you have the prices of all the packages and all the details that are important for someone who's brand new. And the payments that are accepted, you know, the commissions and all the details are here. The contact information and the office, it's all there. Okay. So it's not designed to be a presentation, it's designed to be informative. Okay. So that's just an example of what's available. Now, these are the last two things I want to focus on here is we have USA Spanish. What do we mean by that? Is obviously we have speaking Spanish folks in Canada, in the United States. So keep in mind that that's the reason why this is over here. Okay. So if you click on that, and for example, if I click on this, it's simply going to bring in the PowerPoint. And this is the PowerPoint. Just want to get a few things on my screen. Okay. So the PowerPoint that you're used to in English, but in Spanish. Okay. So let me go back. Just move a few things around so it's not always in my way. Here we go. Okay. So let me go back to the board. Okay. So, and this is the actual script. Okay. Now, because as I mentioned, there are different products approvals. So in the English, excuse me, in this North American Spanish version, you will have all the products that are obviously available in Canada, in the United States. But in Mexico, we have a different line of products. Okay. So the same PDF file is over here. And I believe this is the PowerPoint. And you'll notice that exactly the same PowerPoint. And folks, you need to understand that if you want to create success in your business, the key is duplication. And this is why Joe mentioned, you know, the music harmony is all the leadership agreed to use the same PowerPoints. So different team members don't get taken back by foreign presentations and style of presentation that confuses everybody. So the key is to have all the same information. And you'll notice again, very, very familiar, same stuff that you guys have been seeing for a few years now, right? Same information, but keep in mind that here we're dealing with, let me just go right into the products. Let me just go back behind. Okay. So this is the approvals and everything else. Okay. And the reason why it's like, it's because I'm reading it to a text on but once you download it on the PowerPoint, it'll be perfectly organized. You won't have any issues with the fonts. So this is the Max One over here. This is the GXL, and there's a 357. And of course, the rest is over here. And I wanted to thank Erica and Mary Paul, who spent a lot of quality time in massaging this. Thank you so much. I know that I've asked Jasmine and Sheni to also work at it. Sheni is in Mexico right now. And the key here, guys, is we want to try to eliminate as much as possible the English content on this board. Okay, so it's all in Spanish, because as we know, we have all the English content over here and the French content over here. But when it comes to the Mexican business, everything is over here. That's all you need. And it's very important that you familiarize yourself with the content and the information that's available for you to build. Okay. And Tammy, is there anything else you want to add to this?
No, I think you covered everything, Chris. I think what's really important is start to think of who you know. Start looking into different communities in your local market. When Chris and I first started building the network marketing profession, we didn't really know anybody outside of our own area code. And we were able to build international businesses. Obviously, in our previous company, that's when Mexico was a big part of that. And in Max, and one of the things that we did, knowing we were going into international markets, we would start doing our research. So don't just sit and wait for things to happen. Do your due diligence. And start getting into different communities, start joining different groups, start going out to restaurants that are owned by Mexican families, you know, start supporting the Mexican communities. And this is how you get into these markets. And I always say, when you focus on whatever you focus on expands. And one of the things for us, when we would think about Mexico, specifically in our previous company, when we were in, every time I would turn around, no matter where I was, at the bank, in the mall, the grocery store, I would turn around and there'd be somebody speaking Spanish. And I just randomly went up to them and said, "Hey, where are you from?" "Mexico." "Interesting, eh?" when you start focusing on things, things just come your way. So I highly recommend not to wait. There's plenty for everybody. We always say that. There's a lot of opportunity, and you're going to make a huge, huge impact on so many people's families' lives in Mexico by tapping into your local market. So don't wait for this, you guys. This is going to be big.
I totally agree. I totally agree, Tammy. And the fact here, folks, is I know, John, you mentioned, Paul, excuse me, about the product pricing and commission in English and everything else. Yes, I've asked the company to provide us the English version. The company has been very, 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 very busy right now in getting things operating in Mexico, to have everything translated and everything else. And they will come back and give us the English version. So that is not a problem. Dr. Quado, will there be an English? Yes. Yes, they will definitely be an English version when it comes. Just a sec. Will there be an English version of the Mexican content on the board app? Okay, no, because just so you understand that the English version, okay, that is the English version. Okay, everything that's available. Okay, so it's all here. So in a sense, the answer is probably yes, but there's no translation needed because everything is already done. Okay, but the details here is all in Spanish. Okay, but some of the information, remember, whatever's in a Mexican directory, it's translated from the English directory. So everything is available here. So the Mexican directory is designed for the Mexican people. So when you start training your teams, you want them to be aware of this and where to access these files. If you want your business to grow, you want them to depend on the system and not depend on you. Okay, perfect. That's awesome. Is there any questions or comment before we end the call?
Yeah, Chris, I got a question for you on the pricing side of things. Have they
Sure.
simply taken US pricing and converted it to Mexican peso and that's it?
You know, that is something that we can certainly clarify a little bit later. It's not as simple as that, because there is obviously there is a commission, what we call a conversion factor. I don't know what that conversion factor is, but I know the company is factoring some of the details that has to do with importation and transportation and duties and everything else, but it's very, very reasonable. So I don't have the answer as for what the conversion rate is, but it's
Right.
very, very reasonable. So the prices remain competitive. In fact, we are cheaper than a product that is a company that is based out of Canada, which is called AminoCal, which is a whey powder. And the product is more expensive. And this company has done extremely well. And the reason is, before, when I went to Mexico with a previous company, it was a whey powder like that. And as a matter of fact, when we got there, we exploded. We exploded with a very similar product. And what we have is much, much, much superior. Obviously, you know, everybody's going to swear by, you know, for their product is the best, and that's all cool. But the technology is there. So I know we'll expand. It'll do well. But back to your question, the prices are cheaper than our competitors there. So you're in very good hands with what we have to offer. And,
Okay, and it's kind of a twofold question. All right, I think we all know the Canadian-American peso, it's been floating all over the place. The Canadian to the Mexican peso has taken a huge hit. All right, so is Max going to make adjustments as we move forward? All right, because the trend that I'm seeing from the
Yes.
market is it's not over.
Oh, no, I understand that. And Max adjusts to make sure that they don't lose their shirts. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. We have to be in business. We have to remain in business. We have to stay in business. And for that, as you noticed, the price of eggs and bread and butter and cheese went absolutely stupid. Excuse me the expression. It's just the cost of transportation. And I think eventually it's going to come down. But Max will make the adjustments to make sure that everything is good. But from what I understand, Joe has mentioned that the prices is factoring a lot of these factors. And I don't think we should see some significant changes for a period of time. So I think we're safe there.
And this is a great opportunity, Steve, to bring the opportunity into the conversation, because we have challenges everywhere around the world. And when you bring an opportunity to somebody to make that change, people, they don't mind investing if they know that there's value. So I would lead with the opportunity itself, because once people start earning income by signing people up, they end up consuming the products for free. So it's just a matter of getting the ball rolling, and we'd be working very closely with everybody here.
Yeah,
No, understood, understood.
Yeah, Tammy is absolutely correct. This is something that blows my mind, is when people see value and they witness the value that they're paying for, they're hooked. They really are. And Max, I have never seen a company as committed as Max International to do everything they can to satisfy the associates. I mean, I'm blown away, because I have conversation with these guys, and they're constantly, I wouldn't say worrying, keeping the challenges that associates have to go through dealing with the daily challenges of our inflation and economy. And they constantly try to do their best to adjust so the company can operate in the same time that we can get paid for the work that we're doing. So rest assured that Max will always make sure that if there's some adjustment needed due to, for example, currency getting better, and I have a feeling that in about 2 years from now, anyway, I'm not going to speculate. I don't want to, but I don't think the US dollar will be as strong as it is forever. I think there's a lot of factors that are falling into play that are going to change the power that be. But for the time being, we're working with the current situation. And here's the thing, and this is my philosophy. When things are hard and you're able to function when things are hard, when things are easy, I'm telling you, you'll get into momentum. And I have witnessed that. I've witnessed that, especially when I use the example in Mexico, when I went from 0 to 100,000 a week in CV with this team that was developing. You wouldn't believe how hard it was at the beginning. We were dealing with some serious exchange rate. At one point, I don't know if you recall, but the Canadian dollar was like $1.60. I mean, it was just, right? I don't know if you remember those days. And I remember doing network marketing in those days. So, and suddenly, holy and behold, and it just exploded. So long story short, when you got a good product with good value, people buy, people will pay because the value is real. And as you guys are building this business, don't get all caught up into people, it's too expensive. Yes, of course, some people are always going to say it's too expensive. It's just the nature of the beast. But at the end of the day, people pay for value. And people are aware that the cost of living has increased. And if you bring benefits and you focus on the benefits that people will have, people will buy. They absolutely will buy. It's the way that you perceive it. It's the way that you word it. And it's your posture, the way you position yourself in front of the information that will have an impact on your prospect or not. So all this to say, thank you, Steve. Actually, you kind of inspired me to share some of my thoughts. But if there's anything else, guys, keep in mind, Tammy and I are always here. We can always connect on a one-on-one basis. And as things start developing, we'll expand. And one thing that we did, just a different note, yesterday, was it yesterday, Janet, that we had a conversation with Chris? Janet, are you still there?
Yes. Yes, we've had a conversation with
Denise.
Chris and
Yeah.
Denise. Yes.
And here's what I really enjoyed. It was a round table conversation. It was not a presentation, because the presentation was already done. It was a round table conversation. We were exchanging information, and it was so much fun to exchange and solidify that relationship. And I really recommend that you do that. Is instead of having one person that you're trying to help understand the value of what this is, maybe let's invite a group of people within your organization, invite Tammy and I with your guests coming in, and let's have a conversation. But it's important that you don't bring up guests that has absolutely no clue about network marketing. They don't know what products are all about. This is not going to serve you well. But if they've seen the presentation, which we know we have them on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, they've been briefed, then we can start having real productive conversation. I'm telling you, some of you could do extremely well building your organization using this model. So I just thought of sharing that. And congratulations, Janet. And Janet, I keep saying Janice. Janet.
Denise.
and Denise for
yeah.
for the wonderful work, and Chris, just a
And
wonderful guy. I don't know
welcome,
if not sure
yeah.
he's still here.
Well, yeah, he is. Welcome
Okay.
to the team, Chris. We're
Yeah.
excited to have you part of our Max family. And nice to know that we're neighbors in Canada. So can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah, we'll go to that place in Mississauga we were talking about. So is there any other comments?
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Denise said, yeah, okay. Is there any other questions or comments, or, and again, usually it happens when a call is over, feel free to connect with you, but I just want to make sure that we have a last chance for anybody who has any questions or comments. Let me make sure on Facebook Live, there is any, no, there is not. Okay. If not, we'll just end the call on this note. Okay, beautiful, beautiful.
Very good. Thank you very
everybody.
much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So everybody,
Welcome. Have a
listen,
great week.
this is a great opportunity. Don't take this lightly. I'm telling you, some people are going to become very, very wealthy here. And I'm not kidding you. Some people will become very wealthy. Take this seriously, not as a grain of salt. Go with the bull, grab the bull by the horn and work on this, because it's worth it to deal with the naysayers and sometimes the objections or the rejection. Just stay the course and share the information, because I'm telling you, it will grow. I guarantee you. People know what glutathione is in Mexico, because I know we introduced it 50, 60, oh my God, was it 20 years ago or so?
Yeah.
And I know how it can do that. Okay, everybody, have yourself a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for attending, and have a great night. The call is recorded and it'll be saved on our usual Go for Diamond webinar. Okay, everybody, bye for now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.